At Argentina Crime Files, every story confronts us with a justice that leaves more questions than answers. April 10, 2002. San Miguel de Tucumán. Maria de Los Angeles Verón, known as Marita, left her house like any other day. She wore light clothing, her brown hair loose. She greeted her mother and walked down the same street as always. But this time she never came back. As if the world had swallowed her whole. No witnesses, no traces. Only one certainty. She did not leave by choice. She had a 3-year-old daughter waiting for her at home. One more reason to know she would have never disappeared voluntarily. Hours later, the phone rang in the Verón household. A strange, hesitant voice. A call that brought no answers, only more questions. That moment marked the beginning of a battle that would expose the horrors of a human trafficking network operating in broad daylight. Every clue that surfaced only deepened the shadows of the mystery. But what they would uncover over time was even more chilling. The testimony of women rescued from brothels in La Rioja revealed what many preferred to keep silent. Marita had been kidnapped and moved between clandestine brothels, forced into a life of exploitation and violence. Her identity erased, her will broken. Those who managed to escape described the hell of being treated like merchandise in a perverse circuit where victims were bought, sold, and discarded once they were no longer profitable. This network did not operate in the shadows. It thrived under the protection of powerful figures who ensured its existence in exchange for money and favors. Like so many others, Marita was trapped in a system that never intended to save her. Her mother, Susana Trimarco, did not let the case fade into oblivion. She didn't just knock on doors, she broke them down. With every brothel raided, with every witness who dared to speak, an uncomfortable truth was exposed. Human trafficking networks do not operate alone. They survive through political, police, and judicial complicity. Power turned a blind eye. Documents disappeared. Police officers who were supposed to investigate became accomplices, and judges who could have delivered justice chose silence instead. Every obstacle in the search for Marita was further confirmation that the perpetrators weren't just in the shadows. They also sat in offices of power. Susana's desperation crashed against a wall of indifference. Doors were shut. Evidence was lost. Witnesses vanished. Impunity wasn't accidental. It was orchestrated. From the very first days of Marita's disappearance, the irregularities were blatant. Ignored complaints, silenced witnesses, police officers who misdirected the investigation. Justice was not just slow, it was designed to protect those responsible. The names that emerged in the case weren't just pimps. They were businessmen, politicians, and members of law enforcement. Among the accused were José Chena Gomez and the siblings Maria Jesus and Victor Rivero, linked to the notorious Ale Clan, a criminal organization that controlled human trafficking, drug dealing, and extortion for years with absolute impunity. As the investigation progressed, it became evident that officials and judges were shielding the perpetrators, obstructing the search for Marita. Key witnesses reported threats, and crucial evidence vanished. Tucumán's then-governor, José Alperovich, faced heavy criticism for his inaction, while sections of the provincial police were implicated in the cover-up. The judicial ruling was a blow to impunity, but it wasn't enough. Of the 13 accused, most were acquitted in the first trial. Only in 2014, after relentless social pressure and Susana Trimarco's unwavering fight, were final convictions secured. José Chena Gomez and his brother Gonzalo José Gomez were sentenced to 22 years in prison, while Daniela Milhine and Alejandro Gonzalez received 18-year sentences. But not a single one of these convictions brought Marita back. Her whereabouts remain a mystery, and justice, although delayed, never truly repaired the irreversible damage. The worst part: the story keeps repeating itself. Years later, different names, different faces, but the same system: concealing, protecting, and ensuring that trafficking continues. Some theories suggest she was killed when she became a problem for the network. Others believe she was sold abroad, condemned to an unknown fate. No body, no concrete proof. Uncertainty is the only verified fact. But her name became a symbol of resistance. Her mother, Susana Trimarco, not only exposed the web behind her disappearance but also risked her own life to rescue other victims. She infiltrated brothels, spoke to women forced into prostitution, and faced constant threats. "Stop looking for her or you'll end up the same," they warned her repeatedly. But she never stopped. Thanks to her relentless fight, the case of Marita Verón marked a turning point in the awareness of human trafficking in Argentina. In 2008, The country passed Law 26.364 for the prevention and punishment of human trafficking and assistance to victims. Though a step forward, time revealed its flaws. Victims remained without real access to justice, trafficking networks continued to operate with impunity, and the state never ensured comprehensive assistance. A law without enforcement is just ink on paper. The case of Marita Verón didn't just shake Argentina, it made international waves. In 2013, Susana Trimarco was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for her fight against human trafficking. But neither awards nor laws could answer the most important question. Where is Marita? How can a country allow so many women to disappear without a trace, without justice, without truth? Marita Verón is not a closed case. She is a reminder that impunity is the norm and that justice remains an unfulfilled promise. And she is also proof that in Argentina, any woman can vanish without a trace while those who should protect them look the other way. Follow Argentina Crime Files to uncover more stories that justice prefers to forget. Because sometimes, remembering is the only way to seek justice.